Alright, is this a weird ass angle or what? What we got? Too weird? Hmm. Let's see. How about that? Still kind of weird in my opinion, but we're getting there. It's a work in progress. Okay. Felt kind of weird. My screen's all crooked. Like, let's see. We got time. We're waiting for Allie. She's coming. It's hard trying to do all the tech stuff, like you have bad internet and you're host. But I need to warm up anyway. I haven't been here in a minute. Um, last person I talked to was Flower, and she also now works with me. So that's rad. Um, what else? I got picked to be a camp counselor since the last time that I recorded. That was rad, but I'm not going to talk about it because I have a blog post coming out. So you can read that. And it's 5,000 words that I wrote. But truly, it's about my experience at summer camp up until this point. So it starts in 2007. So that's why it's 5,000 words. Sorry. Hopefully, it's kind of entertaining. Anyway, so summer camp happened. My friend Melissa passed away. That was a pretty big thing. That took up a lot of my summer just grieving. So, new season, maybe a little transition here into some self care after working really hard to make sure everyone was getting the appropriate attention. But she totally helped me get that camp counselor gig, and I'm so stoked on it. It's already leading to some cool stuff. On the down low, Cold Hot Dog hit me up to work with them, so that is super effing exciting. Why did I say effing? Fuck. Okay. All right. Hello, viewers. I'm Allyce. This is Women, Wine, and Song, the podcast. Today's guest is Ali Jay. She is a friend of mine. I had the pleasure of meeting her at summer camp in 2019. My friend Tara introduced us, and so we've been friends for a little bit now, but I haven't interviewed her yet. So we're gonna talk because she does a lot of cool stuff in the music community. Um, I just got to hang out with her recently at summer camp, which was super exciting. It was like the hottest set ever though. It was Sunday afternoon. I mean, those sets are always a million degrees at summer camp on Sundays, but like after the long weekend and you're roasty toasty, and Humphreys is usually playing at night, but now they're playing in the middle of the day. So, we looked out for each other during that set, but still raged it. But we're both in Colorado, so we're kind of, we run in the same circles for the most part. Always see each other out and about, and I'm very excited to be able to talk to her today. Hopefully she can. It's the tricky thing about these internet recordings is that if your internet's not working, it doesn't work. So that's what we work with here. I'm trying to think of anything else I have to tell you guys, but really it's been a long time. But I guess it doesn't matter because Allie just got here. Here we go. Maybe. Oh, hey.
Wow.
Damn it. See, I wanted to have Coors with me. I don't have Coors. I was
I
sad.
was trying to cool it on the banquets, so it's Coors Light and some pickles.
That sounds fire. Oh gosh, I forgot all about the pickle thing. You went through a phase, I feel like, in the
Oh no, I've
like
been living in the phase.
I mean,
So,
I know, but like you were posting about different concoctions involving like pickle juice or something, maybe last winter or something. And it was like, let's see what else we can mix with pickle juice kind of thing.
yeah,
And I'm into it.
I got really into it, especially when I was working at Mile High Spirits. But um, yeah, eventually people just started posting like pickle recipes all the time on my Facebook and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna take a breather from this. I'm
Hey,
still
pickles are the
secretly at
shit.
home eating pickles.
I mean, you should eat all the pickles. They're good for you.
Yeah, anything
And they do.
fermented, you know.
Yeah, totally. So do you eat a lot of kimchi?
I do. Yeah, a lot
I'm
of.
I'm scared. I've never tried
And
it. I'm
it
scared.
smells really bad,
Yeah.
but and I hear people's like horror stories about kimchi farts. I haven't experienced it yet. I think it's just their bodies telling them that they needed some kimchi in their life.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they're uncomfortable with the expelling of all the noxious stuff they have built up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh man, we'll have to go get some kimchi together sometime then because I love pickles too, so I feel like maybe I will love kimchi, but I'm scared.
I'm fine. You can just come on over to my place, and there's probably like a whole drawer of fermented things. So
Cool. Have you ever made kombucha yourself?
no,
That
no.
is weird shit.
One of my old roommates used to, and it tasted horrible. So not. I'd rather just pay someone else to make it for me.
Absolutely. That's how I feel about a lot of things. Like, let the professionals handle this.
Exactly.
Especially when it's like culturing something like that. It's like a very interesting process, but also
It
I don't
could go
know.
wrong
Yeah,
very
I don't
easily.
I don't want to consume my experiment necessarily. At least not for a while.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. You got to be fearless for sure. How are you doing, Elise?
I'm good. I haven't done this in a minute. I have a really weird, awkward camera angle going on right now, but I haven't figured out my setup like because I recorded in my guest room because I have kids and they're loud as shit.
Yeah.
And my husband is also loud as shit and my dog is also loud as shit. So I just like hide in here, but I only come in here to record. So I walked in here a little bit ago and I was like, oh God, it was a mess. And I didn't have the angle. I don't know. But it's interesting. I wanted to get summer
It
camp
looks all right. It looks
there in your
fine.
name, but it's just I feel like I'm hunched over and it's kind of
Me
weird,
too, actually. I'm like at
You
this
can see my
weird
knees.
position right now because like the conference room upstairs, my Wi-Fi went out for some reason. It's just been going in and out. And the conference room upstairs is being used by someone else doing a podcast. And it looks really dope up there. So I was stoked. And now I'm sitting on like a bench that's 2 inches away from the table. I'm like, can you see
You look fabulous, so don't worry about that. But
me?
okay, so the show started off like very differently when it was like last summer when I decided I wanted a show because like shit was hitting the fan and it was everyone hated each other and it's like we have to be able to have like regular ass conversations without like being so invested in our own beliefs that we treat other people like garbage.
Yep.
And so that's like where it started. I kind of like I don't know. I don't know if that's still the same thing, but what the framework was women's stories of their triumphs, traumas, and evolution in the music community. And I know that your evolution is pretty epic. So I don't know. It's if any of those things strike your fancy to talk about, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, this is your podcast, like you ask me whatever you want to know. I'm pretty open with my ideals. I don't post things on Facebook typically, but yeah, whatever you want to know, I'm
So
here.
do you want to talk about like how you started in the music community in general, or do you want to talk about what you do now?
Yeah. 1 second. So people walking through, like there's literally a fucking hallway that dude could have walked around, and I closed the doors. It's like, I hate this place. I hate it. Anyways,
Well, where are you right now? Tell the viewers.
I live in Rhino, in this bougie ass overpriced building. Um, I am gonna close the door real quick because he didn't even bother. So give me 1 second. Okay, so anyways,
So Rhino is in
I start.
Colorado. Sorry, I was trying to tell the people. Rhino, right, is part of Denver. What is
The River North Arts
okay.
District, which Denver seems to have like 500 arts districts. I would say this is more of an industrial area at the moment, just housing, and Larimer's pretty cool. Some venues around. I've got walking distance to Cervantes and Summit, and I live about a block and a half up from Mission Ballroom, so that's convenient for me as far as work and all that goes. I love Denver. I don't love the way that Denver's been lately. The crime is up. I mean, we literally just found my neighbor's motorcycle with the like alternator or something ripped out of it in the dumpster. So it happens every week. We're calling the cops every week. They don't show up. So if the Denver PD sees this, seem a little understaffed, y'all. But
Jump on it, boys.
yeah, shit's been a little fucked up with all the politics going on in Denver, and that changed my career path a lot with COVID. And I feel like, probably every episode, if you started this during COVID, upon talking with people, COVID's been a major topic. So, but yeah, so as far as like, I think you asked where I started out, or what was the question?
Whatever you want to talk about, but how did you start out, or what are you doing now?
So my mom, I don't usually like bring her up that much, but she ran major different branches of Clear Channel, which is a major media broadcasting company. They own iHeartRadio and commercial, pretty much everything. And they have a lot to do with like top charts and iTunes and, Spotify hits and all of that, and pop music pretty much. When I was in high school, she retired from that so that we could move back to Michigan to be closer to her parents. And I was a very rebellious young woman at the time. I didn't like going to school. I was smoking a lot of weed, was selling a lot of weed. That was pretty much all I was doing. And it got to the point where my grades were like decent, but because of my attendance, I was at risk for not graduating high school. So my mom decided to give me an internship that would count for high school credits so that I could graduate. And I started interning for Radio 1 in Detroit, working in hip hop, which is
Cool.
Not anywhere I ever want to be again. I love me some hip hop music and everything, but dealing with those artists is a different world, I guess I'll say nicely. That's when I started doing concert photography and blogging as Hot Girl 1075 in Detroit. And yeah, then I decided to go to college when I went out of school, still didn't know what I was going to do. I met a kid at a Fish concert in Chicago when I moved there to Chicago, and he was a dickhead, but it was young love, young
Fucking fish
love.
dicks.
Yeah, I don't fuck with fish boys anymore. Sorry, guys. And it's funny too, because actually, so we spent a whole year doing fish tour and stuff, and everyone made fun of me for loving Humphreys McGee. Every major fish kid that I
know they always hate on Humphreys so hard, and it's only because they're so heavy they can't fucking handle it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
too heavy for them, and that's fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but you don't have to actively hate when your band that you're seeing has 30,000 people in the crowd. Why do you have to hate
Yeah,
on the little guy? Why do you gotta hate on him?
yeah, exactly. They're not even like little guys. They're like
No,
in
they're
the top
killing it.
three,
Like, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so he moved me out here to Colorado, and I started growing weed with him. We realized that we hated each other, and I moved out, and I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. My friend was like, "Why don't you check out this design degree at UCD? I'm about to go check it out so I can apply for school." And I was like, I don't want to go back to school." I went and I dug it. I was super stoked. And then I got accepted. I don't know how or why. My portfolio for art was really small. I only had photography, and the degree is digital arts and media, so it's design, photography, videography, animation, um, pretty much anything digital art wise. Even some people go into video games and stuff, which I stayed clear of. And after my first year, one of my professors told me to switch to music business, and I got pissed about it because I just spent all this money on my freshman year getting into this university program. So I stuck with design, and I also have a business communications degree, and I should be finishing this year. Throughout that process, everything I branded and designed within my program, which pissed my professors off constantly, is still pissing them off constantly, was designed towards music, auditory things like sound engineering, light engineering, stuff like that. And then I got an internship at Mile High Spirits, pretty much like as I was on the come up with doing my photography for the local bands in Denver. They had me doing design work for them, realized that I liked music more, and made me their talent buyer after about 2 months of interning for them, their full-time talent buyer. So totally shifted again everything that I was going to do. I got into eventing, and then COVID hit, and my events got canceled. And then I met my boyfriend at a show, and I worked for him and his band. And that's pretty much the timeline. I know it's a long one, but
No, it's so dope. I mean, I obviously, we've known each other for a couple of years. I know, like, I knew about your mom and everything, and I get why, like, you maybe don't bring her up all the time, but it is cool to let people know, because, like, you grew up around it. So it's like in your blood, you know? I guess, because my boys, like, you can totally tell that I didn't go to shows with my first one. Like, I went to a handful through the whole time I was pregnant, but like really not very many. I went to like Jack Johnson and No Doubt, I think.
oh, you saw
Uh,
No Doubt. That's dope.
Fuck yeah, with Paramore. It was so good. It was so good.
The emo kid, the 12-year-old in me is like dying right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was my first one of my first, or no, my first tape cassette was No Doubt. But well, Tragic Kingdom, but anyway, so Weston, I went to 40 plus shows when I was pregnant. So that was a show a weekend at least, you know? Or yeah, because you're 40 weeks pregnant. Yeah. So like, yeah, at least a show a week. And
Well, that's pretty impressive.
he's totally different. He's totally like he stops everything if he hears music and he'll like start nodding his head or like dancing. Like I still can't get my oldest to dance, you know, for the life of me, which now he's a teenager, so he's definitely not going to for a while. But
Oh,
you know, the little one, he like if you go downstairs to do laundry, he's following you to play the drums, you know, like that it's totally different. It's crazy.
it's yeah, that is crazy. Like that's some scientific shit right there. You know, being
Yeah.
exposed to music at a young age, that's nuts. And like I've got two older brothers who are like 12 years older than me, and they don't see music or have been into music in a similar way to me as at all. And I think part of that has to do with my mom like working in country music when they were young, and I don't know, they just never did it. Like they couldn't play instruments, they couldn't sing and do any of that. And I was like super music nerd. The only thing probably keeping me in school was art and music.
Totally.
And I know I was going to shows in my mom's belly. I don't think my brothers were. I think my mom had a completely different career at that point. So it's interesting that you bring that up. Maybe we need to, when, you know, us ladies, when we're pregnant, if we want our kids to love music, we should probably be playing it more often.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And it was like I was like riding the rail at these shows too. So like
Safely.
the vibrations are like, they feel that. Like you can tell that he feels it. It's so different than just hearing it. It's like
Yeah.
his whole like everything and his facial expression will change and everything, and it's kind of the same with my brother and sister. And I don't know why I'm like so much more into music than either that. Well, I don't, that's not even fair. My brother does like, I don't know what you call it, producing, like mixing and stuff, and likes to rap and everything, but like very privately. And doesn't, I like have to drag him out to shows usually. Like he's a homebody, which I'm also a homebody, but that's like, I'll be at home all week and then go out
Yeah,
once a week
same.
still
The
and
shows
go.
are the escape for me for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
I
do
could get
like,
work done otherwise.
yeah, exactly. But my sister, like, not even. Like, she was just like full send into dogs. Like, animals, I guess. Like, she's a vet tech or something like that, works at a vet and everything. And it's just like,
I
we're
do
so
love
different.
dogs, but dogs probably like music too. We just don't know it.
Yeah. And we play it probably too loud for their ears. Like, if we played it a little lower, like, they'd probably love the shit out of it. I'm sure they do, because did you ever see that video of the cows?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one gives me goosebumps every time, and I'm like,
They're
oh
Norwegian like throat singers. They're like,
yeah, yeah. And then the
the
cow's
cows
like, come
come.
watch. It's crazy.
It's really cool.
It's so
I
cool.
love that. My dog knows dancing, but I used to try the harness that goes around the
Yeah.
waist. And I was shooting with her for a little bit, and then I was shooting an Alan Stone concert in Boulder, and I think she like finally hit her limit. Like she was just, I'm done. And just started barking super loud, which she'd never done at a concert before. And
Yeah.
Alan Stone's like staring at me while I'm shooting, like, get that dog out of here. And I'm just like, what would you? I'd go find a friend and be like, please, like, take my dog over there because this is
Yeah.
embarrassing. Now I can't go to concerts with my dog anymore. That sucks. But
Yeah. I mean, maybe let's just like start an event that's like a dog friendly concert where the decibels are kosher for the little ears and
yeah, the like graphics behind the artist could be the
dog bones.
dog television. Have you ever seen
Oh
that?
yeah. Yep.
It's
That
actually really entertaining for humans too, I
Oh,
swear.
totally. Dude, have you ever seen the people that do the liquid art? Like they
I actually started out doing that in Denver in my freshman year.
so like are you talking about the pour or are you talking about like I'm talking about like a
I'm
projector?
talking about like I just sold it to Garrett Clough. Shout out to Garrett Clough.
Ah, I love Garrett.
Yeah, so I just sold him my projector and all of my dyes, and
That
all
shit
of the
is so
oils.
cool. It's
It
so
was really
cool.
cool, but it was such a mess, and it was a pain in the ass. Like liquid light shows, actually, like if you don't know, they originated with the Velvet Underground, and I was a huge Lou Reed fan, which a lot of people are like, Lou Reed's an asshole, and like I think he's a fucking awesome person. But started with the Velvet Underground, and I had this like, like I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my design degree. And I started out doing liquid light shows at a couple of like really small venues, really small shows. And I got to hit a point of frustration where I just like didn't feel like I was good at it. But yeah, I spent like probably like $500 on that setup, and I was just like, my projector sucks. And like I went old school with everything. I got like a projector from like probably the 70s or something. Like it was old, and I thought that it would, and like two like giant antique glass pieces of glass, and eventually just turned into something we would fuck around with at home if we had mushrooms or something.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just sitting in my storage unit now. So I go through a lot of phases with art. But any show that has a liquid light show, I'm geeking the whole time.
Dude, Amorphic just had that behind them, and it was perfect because their name's Amorphic, so it like very much goes with like the symbolism there. But that was the first time I saw that, and it was the coolest freaking thing I've ever seen. I mean, I was just like, that is rad that you can, because it's like alive almost, it does what it wants to do. It's
Oh yeah, you can't control it. Like, I mean, you have a little bit, but like not much control over what's, if there's like a big bubble and all of a sudden like you do something wrong, like all the colors can just like completely go away and you gotta like mix it up and like start all over again. It can be frustrating for sure.
I'm sure.
That's like good that Amorphic had it. Was that up in Fort Collins?
Yeah, it was at the Lyric. So I don't know, a local band, now I can't even think of their name. Oh, Los Toms hosted this like I think it was just a 1-day festival. And a bunch of bands played, like 14 or something all day or something pretty, decent size. And this place is so cool. I was thinking you and Connor and Tom have to come up and we'll do like crafts and go to the Lyric, because the Lyric is just such a cool spot.
I would love to. The only venue I've actually been to in Fort Collins is the Aggie.
The Aggie's cool.
Yeah,
well, we used to have Hoodies, and that place is like, I don't know, I love that spot because it was like the smaller, like Munyon and Aqueous would play there. Now they play the Aggie, but it's just a bigger room, so it's harder to fill. And like the vibes is not the same as those little intimate rooms. The Hoodies was so small, but it shut down.
That cozy vibe definitely changes.
Yeah,
the experience.
You're like this close to the artist, and you're just like these. Like I remember seeing Money in there, and Amorphic opened for them, and they just like destroyed that room. Like, this is so cool. Like that you can't. I don't know. There's not a lot of spots like that, I guess. I mean, I guess hopefully every town has one, but I don't know. So it's hard to find, I feel like, a nice little nook like that.
I agree.
And they shut down because of the pandemic. So,
well, if you're in Denver, the smaller venues like Lost Lake Globe Hall, Larimer Lounge, anything owned by Scott Campbell is like, I've seen Joey Dossig and like, I mean, really cool touring acts, and the way that the music business kind of like works through that. Like, he works with AEG, but owns these entities separately. And it's kind of a good way for touring musicians who people think are on the come up. They start there, and then next, they're at like Bluebird, which is also owned by Scott Campbell, I believe. Someone's going to quote me on that. I'm sorry. And then you hit Summit, and then you're at Mission, and then you're at like Red Rocks. So it's like everything's super AEG out here. But if you want that cozy vibe, every once in a while, those side shows, same with Cervantes. I mean, like when Do Flamingo plays after like a late night after Humphreys and stuff.
I love that shit. Favorite. I'm trying to get a pretty sweet event in order. I can't give any spoilers yet, but on October 21st, it's a Thursday. You should come up. But I can't say anything here about it. I'll definitely tell you.
I'm pretty sure my boyfriend's gonna be in town around that time. So
are you serious?
I have some guessing.
Well, we're definitely gonna have to talk. Okay, cool. Well, aside from that, let's talk about things that people can listen to. So, how many summer camps have you been to? Mid Pickle Bite.
Shockingly enough, that was my second one.
Sweet. So I've seen you at both of the summer camps you've been to. That's good. That's good.
I saw the picture of us somewhere with the kitty ears.
Yeah, I was gonna include that in my blog post, but it turned out it was like over 5,000 words long. So I had to cut like massive chunks. And I was like, well, I talk about her later for about the well, I talk about you twice, obviously, because we did that Sunday set together and then Monday. But
Oh
I like
yeah,
try to be vague about that.
when we lost the wallet, I can't go anywhere. I have this like thing with Chris where I'm like, did you do your checklist? And he's like, yes, I did my checklist. And then like 3 hours later, he's like, I can't find my wallet. I can't find my water bottle. I can't find this and that. And now we've got this like running tally going like on between like whether I forgot something or he forgot something. I'm pretty sure right now we're at 18 to 12. I'm 12. I'm winning. But yeah, so always forgetting something.
That I mean, it happens to the best of us for real. I think I would be much worse at keeping track of things if I didn't have kids, you know? Like
Yeah.
I have to keep track of all their shit and all their time, like their calendars. I like even today I was like, "Oh no. I don't have anyone to watch Weston if we're doing this at 2:30." You know what I mean? Like, oh no.
Yeah.
Gotta stay on top of those schedules.
Being his social media manager, like digital media manager is not uh, just that job. It is really like both of us working hard together to remember what's on our schedules, putting everything in a goddamn calendar all the time, reminding him of things nonstop. The only thing he has to remind me of is what day of the week it is. Last night I panicked and I was like, oh my God, I just like made a post that me and Elise were going to be recording the podcast tomorrow, and panicked because I thought it was Wednesday. And Chris was like, I just went through and like changed all the socials. And then Chris was like, Allie, it's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. And I was like, this morning, and I forgot that. This morning I woke up, got completely ready for school. It's at 6:30 in the morning, started walking all the way halfway across town just to like stop and be like, it is Friday. I don't have class today. And then walked back and I'm like on the phone with him. He's like, see, you forget shit too. I'm like, whatever. I'm always right.
It's hard, I think, when you have like when you wear so many hats that like your schedule is not normal, you know, like I nanny 2 days a week and then my whole day, I can't get my days straight still because last year it was Tuesdays and Thursdays and this year I was like, nope, music starting again. I'm gonna need Mondays and Thursdays off as well. So I'm gonna switch it to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But now I always think it's Thursday on Wednesday, which is kind of awesome because then Thursday I really get shit done because I'm like panicking that it's already Thursday. It's weird. Time is not real.
It's not real. It's an illusion. I can't remember what movie that's from, but COVID, I think, really fucked up everyone's ability to just keep a goddamn routine, you know? Like, I still feel like I'm building up my ability to have routines again. Like, falling, you know, I'm like up in school, you know, we all have too much on our plate, like trying to bounce back from the plague, you know?
Yeah, no shit. I know. And like it's unfortunate because it's like ramping up again because it's fall and it's like season change too, I think. So like people already have their like common colds because all the kids went back to school for the first time in like however long it's been, like full bore.
And it's scary because then you're like, oh, I gotta go get tested.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if it's a cold or not.
Yeah, but now you can't get tested. Like now, like it's so hard to get tested. I mean, in Fort Collins, it has been anyway. Like, I mean, there are places you can go get, you know, so get the test and you're like, can you hear me? My microphone keeps.
Now I can.
Okay, I'm like, I keep getting this notification that like something's fucking up with my microphone. But anyway, I could not find one place that was open, like that had appointments available to like administer the test for me. And I couldn't find one place that had to take home test in my town or the next town over.
That's crazy. A lot of the
blame
take-home
Finn.
tests have been selling out here, but you can go through the drive-through and they'll give you a PCR test.
Yeah.
I feel like the time frame is just taking longer for them to give results lately. So
yeah, definitely.
annoying.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, like I said, when you're in a you have a time crunch, it really fucks you because you have no control over it. It's like, oh God, like, but I'm healthy and I've been at home. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I
you're
spent
home for,
all this money on my flights and my tickets
yeah.
and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Like,
now I'm just stuck. Like it's hard. It's and keeping up with the rules because every place has different rules. So it's like, oh gosh, like what's the rule here versus, like I'm gonna do New Year's in Florida. What's the rules there?
me too, but I'll tell you right now, we did Fool's Engagement. Kick the Cat um, is the band that I work for. For those who don't know, um, like a prog jazz band. It's Chris Meyer's passion project, second band, whatever. They're really dope. But we went to go play a Fool's Engagement, and I stayed the whole weekend, and I was like partying with Future Joy, Emily Cooper, who you should definitely have on your show. I know Jessica vouched as well, and Jessica Jones, and like
Yeah.
DJ Charisma, Jason Bova, who runs Empty Planet, like basically like all my homies and stuff. And we're just hanging out in a trailer, like, and
Yeah.
we're having a good time, like seeing Tachuba and like all these bands. Like I'm at all the late night sets. Chris was there for one day. The band was there for one day. They all got COVID. When I came back home, I had like sniffles and I couldn't stop sleeping. So I was like, fuck, I got COVID too. And I kept getting tested and they were like, no, you're still negative. Like, do you have any other health issues? And like, all the boys are hurting like
Oh
bad,
my God.
like just sleeping nonstop and all this stuff. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why do you, I was around you guys. Like, I don't get it.
So you
I was
probably already had it. You
no,
probably already
no,
got exposed to it.
I don't think that was it. So when I went to the doctor, they like took my blood and I had anemia from like high school and I hadn't had like an anemia attack in a long time and they got my iron levels and it was like at a 6.9 and means for hospitalization is a 7 with your iron. And I was like, oh, okay. So my iron levels were just dropping and that's what like created this crazy fatigue that made me think I was like
Right.
had COVID and
Yeah.
I didn't, but I
That's
was the only
scary.
one unvaccinated upon most of my working friends, except for, well, I'm not going to say other people, but I was hesitant just because I wanted to see what was going to happen and everything. I just got my first one recently, so we'll see.
Yeah. It's a I don't know. I watched a Russell Brand video today, which I love that dude. I don't know if you ever listened to him talk, but
I
like
love him so much.
he's so smart and he's like been through it, right? Like, he just I don't know. He's cool. So he I just really like how he talked about it because it was just like how, the shaming, it doesn't matter who's doing the shaming, what side, who's right. Like doing the shaming is wrong and let people do whatever they want, like whatever they feel comfortable doing with their body, whatever that means for them given their life experience, like that's what kills me is like this is a very nuanced issue and everyone acts like it's like very black or white and it's really, really not.
I don't think anything is black and white
No.
anymore. I think the more that that's, I mean, that's a huge reason why, like, me being on social media and stuff, I mean, Chris and I will get scared to even post something political on his Instagram. We made a post about Texas that I was there PR wise to make sure it went smoothly. He made a post about the Capitol being stormed. And he was fine for the most part. He's older, so being PC with these younger generations isn't very easy. And that's why he has me to kind of make sure that these words aren't going to offend people who just want to be offended by something and
Yeah,
just
that's the
troll people.
hardest part. It's like, why just you don't have to be offended or outraged by everything. You can
Yeah.
literally give people the benefit of the doubt
Hmm.
because they're doing the best they can with the information they've been given throughout their life. So unless you're going to be here and be supportive for them in their journey and help them learn and grow, then go away. You don't have to
Yeah. You
shame
can literally click
people.
the unfollow button.
Yeah, like what is the deal? You're
And
not, no one gets to tell anyone else how to live their life. It's so dumb.
it always makes me laugh when I removed someone from my Facebook. I think the most recent one was some guy being like, wow, are you so thirsty to get to 5,000 friends on Facebook that you'll add a Trumper? And he was talking about my best friend's parents. Um, I'm from Michigan. I'm from Detroit. It's an auto industry state, and people like Trump in Michigan.
I'm from Indiana,
Am I
dude.
going to disown my family and disown my friends over it? Absolutely not. Like,
Mike Pence was the governor of Indiana. I just want to say that. And I am from Indiana, so you know how it goes there. I have a lot of fucking Republicans on my page, and it's fine. We're all fucking people. Like,
yeah,
we don't have to hate each other. It's cool.
yeah.
And I don't affiliate with either party, so it's especially fucked for me because it's like
Hmm.
for people like me because they're, here we are like, no, we see all of this for the crock that it is.
Yeah. There's
And
good and bad parts to both sides. Like,
yeah,
when
well,
I was
they're all one
younger, I
and the
was really
same.
liberal. I'm not
Yeah.
anymore. I grew up and I started paying fucking taxes. I started like realizing like the things that the
Pay,
Democratic Party does, and I
that you
voted
don't
for
want to
it
pay
now.
$5 a gallon for gas.
Oh yeah, I'm super stoked on inflation right now. Thanks, Biden. Like, no,
Right.
was it, like I wasn't stoked during the Obama administration. I'm glad, like I'm glad we get like civil rights, like
Yeah,
thank you, but like
totally. Well,
these
that
things cover up the amount of money that we're actually spending for these rights. So
exactly.
I am a
And
moderate. I don't fall in line with either side, and I
yeah,
don't trust any politicians, to be honest. And there's
right.
politics in every business, so
Yeah, and that's what that is the hard thing I think about working in the music community is that it's super easy to get jaded, I think. You know what I mean? Just like, like shit
yeah,
just starts to click like, oh, I see. This is how it is or whatever. And it could be literally anything, but it just like people are people and some of them are rad and some of them pretend to be rad for a little bit and then aren't. And some people are just straight up not rad and suck and you don't even want to deal with them.
yeah, exactly. I think
But
that like as far as like women's safety goes and stuff, I really appreciate the things that women like Sarah Mount and Jessica Jones have done. Um, I do think at the same time, like there's certain groups that I've been seeing coming up lately that are just a little too entitled. So I try to steer clear of those. And also, like, if you're working in the music industry and people know who you are, like, don't you want some privacy?
yeah,
Like, just a little bit of privacy, Like,
right.
if you've ever had that completely stripped away from you, especially as a woman, I mean, shit. Like, I don't waste my time with trolls. I will erase them from my life, and people who I find creepy, like, don't not gonna make a big deal about it, but just delete them, move on.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be in any industry that you work in, But creative people are a little bit more wild than
That's so
a
true.
9 to 5er sometimes.
Absolutely. We are like, I don't know, we function with instability constantly, I think, like that's one thing that is true for most creators is that like,
You mean you have literally strangers that you've never met in your life critiquing you and who you are as a person because of the internet? I mean,
yeah. Well, that's what I had someone
come
ask me.
after this podcast, and I'm gonna sit there and be like, I said what I said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what I don't even look back on them ever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I don't know. It's there. The conversation is there. I know it felt like it went well. And there will always be someone who's going to bitch. But this is my show. And we get to talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. And if you don't want to watch, don't fucking watch. I swear, I smoke weed. I drink sometimes. I love when people are hold on, cheers. I love when people decide they want to be sober because that has been like a prominent thing in my life, right?
Mhm.
It took me 12 years to forgive my ex for being an abusive alcoholic, even though he had been recovered for like 7 or something. Like it takes time and it takes patience and it takes like, being able to forgive people enough to give them the space to grow. Although I kind of sidetracked myself. I don't know how I got there.
That's how conversations go. We get off on tangents, but like, and also exes, like, we could all go down that wormhole. I know we
Oh,
can.
fuck yeah.
I feel like I've been losing a lot of people. I don't feel like I have been losing a lot of people to substance abuse and mental health issues over the last year. Um, Fentanyl is killing everyone.
I have an episode with Megan, oh gosh, Megan Coral, and she talks about how to stay safe from fentanyl. And I highly suggest everyone listen to it because I ask all of my fucking friends if they test their shit and they don't. And
Yeah,
it's a problem.
it's sad. I mean, it's a second pandemic within a pandemic, honestly.
Well,
Uh,
it's just like the opioid epidemic is just sprawled out all over and to the point where like people who aren't even using opioids are being affected
oh yeah,
negatively.
it's in coke now. It's in ketamine. It's
Yeah.
in Molly.
Yeah.
During I watched a documentary about this, and I'm not very good at reiterating information, but what I took from it was that during the pandemic, because people were living off stimulus checks, they didn't have very much money. Um, getting a lot of people were getting sober, a lot of people weren't. Um, they were basically putting fentanyl, like 3 grains of sand of fentanyl in one bag of drugs will make
Will
you more
kill
addicted
someone.
to it. Could kill you, but it could also make you more addicted to whatever it is that you're doing. So putting a little bit of fentanyl in a bag of K, like you'll be like you're thinking you're craving ketamine and you're not. You're craving the fentanyl that they slipped in with
Yeah.
K. And then those dealers were making more money off of that. And then all of a sudden everyone's dropping like flies and like dying at music festivals even more than before. And the fact that it gets shipped into the country with an envelope is,
Right.
I mean, it blows my mind. I don't want anybody searching my mail, but like that's what it would take to remove this.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
It's just
Yeah.
that's like the whole reason that things need to be at least decriminalized, but I think actually legalized and regulated so that people can obtain these things safely because they're going to do them regardless. And now we're just like losing people for no reason. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a point where it's like we're paying too much for like, I don't know. It just seems like there has to be a reason that we could put to the powers that be to at least decriminalize this shit and like figure out how they can do it in a way where people stay safe because they're going to do it either way. It's like if you've ever had children, like they're going to fucking do the shit. They're going to do the shit no matter how many times you tell them don't
Oh
do the
yeah.
shit.
And the more you don't want them to do it, they're going to
They
do it even
do it.
more.
And
Yeah.
so it's like, you know, this. It's like we were just having that conversation about the vaccine, actually. It was like, God, it's just like they're jamming it down people's throats. And it's so dumb because everyone knows how reverse psychology works. And if you were like, well, you could get it and it's out there, but really, maybe you shouldn't, like people would be getting it more, But the fact that they're like, incentivizing it with like $100 Walmart gift cards is like
What?
so.
I get a fucking gift card? Are you
I
kidding
know
me?
you gotta look for the deals, dude.
Fuck. I'm so mad right now. I love Walmart.
You would.
Where else do you think I'm like
Walmart.
styling with this shit?
I know.
Oh,
That's why I laugh about Sasek wearing all the Budweiser shit. Because I'm like, what, did he get that at Walmart? Like, you know, I see the Budweiser shit at Walmart for sure. For
every
sure.
time I'm backstage and I open the cooler and it's all Budweiser, I'm like, where's the Coors? And like, someone's always got shit to give me. I'm like, there
I
should be
like
Coors in
Coors.
here.
I
I like
don't.
Coors and I like Trulies and Claws, and that's pretty much it.
I'm drinking vodka water currently, just vodka and water. And people hate serving it to me. It's so funny. The things they'd be like, I'll be like, no lime, and they'll give me like still a ton of fruit in it because they're like, oh no, you don't want vodka
I don't
water. And
fuck
like,
with bar
it's
fruit.
oh fuck
Mm-mm.
no,
I
nope,
worked in a distillery bar tasting room. I've seen mm-mm, mm-mm.
nope.
Like, oh, the alcohol kills it. Okay, well, what if I didn't order alcohol and you put that in my drink?
Ew.
No, it's disgusting. No, I feel
Yeah,
like no. I enjoyed a vodka soda here and there as well.
yeah.
I've recently kicked the whiskey. So,
I like if I'm in the mood, I will like on occasion partake in whiskey, but not usually. I've just been like, yep, vodka and water. That's it.
my
Because
last experience was like 2 weeks ago, and I'd been like holding off a hard liquor for a while. An occasional tequila shot doesn't mess with me that much, but I worked at Mile High Spirits Distillery for a while, and I would do the distillery tours, and it got to the point where like I was just like drunk all the time. Like I
totally.
just lived drunk, I worked drunk, I went to school drunk
That's
because
how
like we had to do tastings and like old fashions, and I learned like I already loved whiskey before that and scotch and like like the good stuff, and being able to drink moonshine straight from the tap, I was like, this is fucking sick.
no
And
shit.
like trying to stay charismatic during my events when I was too tired to talk to people. So I'd like slam a couple shots and then be like, all right, I'm good. And
God,
then I realized like that was just like really toxic behavior for me, and had to get the fuck out of that
yeah.
situation.
That's how it was when
So
I worked at a brewery. It was just like
I'd
1933.
get so fat working in a brewery.
Dude,
I
I
got
drank
fat
so
working in a
much
distillery.
beer. I drank so much
I
beer.
love beer though.
Oh God,
Which
I do
brewery was
too.
it?
It's not there anymore, but it was 1933, and it was awesome. It was like my first bar job having moved to Colorado. I was like subbing at elementary schools, and that was fine, but like I just missed being around adults because my kid was like elementary school age. You know what I mean? It was just
Mhm.
like I want to be around adults sometimes. And so
Yeah.
and I had been a bartender for years, you know, in Indiana, but the funny thing is when you move to a different state, employers like don't want to hire people from out of town sometimes. So,
Yeah.
you know, it took a while to get there. Well, not that long, but like longer than I would have wanted, you know, 8 months or something. But then like it was so fun. But and I had the best regulars. I'm still friends with them. You know, I'm still like really good friends with my boss at the time that left before me. And he actually got hired. He walked in, he was gonna just check out the place before his interview, you know, the next day. And so he just like came in and try the beer really quick and, you know, get to know the vibe. And I had Umphrey's radio on Pandora and fucking Pandora. and, they
I hate
he is
that.
like, who's playing Humphreys in here? And I was like, me, that's my favorite band. He's like, oh fuck yeah. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, because that doesn't happen that often. Usually, like, you know, people very infrequently would comment on my music choice until
Yeah.
later in the night, and then the cheeseheads and stuff would come out and they would, you know, be into it. But I used to get shitty drunk there, like just shitty, because they would give you 3 free beers each shift.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah.
people are
If it's like a
buying
good
you
beer, that's
beer.
all you need.
Yeah,
You know?
they're like
I just had like
10%.
I didn't technically have an open tab in Mile High Spirits, but I basically had an open tab at Mile High Spirits.
Well,
So
yeah, and there was no limit. Like if other people were buying you beers or you wanted to buy your own, like there was no limit. Like they didn't set a limit. They just only limited the amount of free beers you got, which was 3, which most places I've ever worked, that if they give you any free drinks, it's 1 and it's a shifty, like it's 1 shifty after you work.
Our limit was 3, I think. And but our bartenders were dope as fuck. A lot of them are still my friends, and they would just, you want to take a shot? And I'd be like, all right, apple pie moonshine, let's go. And then eventually I got to a point where like I couldn't even like get drunk anymore. I was like, like eventing was really fun and I loved it, but I think that working from home has become a little bit easier for me nowadays. I don't feel as burnout.
Yeah.
I'm getting old, man. I turn 28 next week.
Old.
Yeah, I feel old. I think with how much I've done since, like a lot of people I feel start in college with the partying and stuff like that. I started when I was like ridiculously young. I mean, with your mom like working in the music industry, she's not home all the time. Not blaming my mom whatsoever. She was awesome and like provided a great life for me. And my dad, also worked really hard and was really busy, but I like did feel like I spent most of my life like kind of raising myself. And when I hit my hormonal teenage years, I was like, I'm a grown up.
I'm a grown up. I remember being like 13 and thinking I was grown as fuck for sure. And that was like sheltered Catholic kid, blue collar family. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I definitely blue collar family for me as well. So
it's just like whatever, work your butt off and drink a bunch.
Yeah.
That's how it was. That's how it looked as a kid to me. And I was just like, I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah, me too. I just smoked a shit ton of pot. I didn't really start drinking until I turned like 19 or 20 in the college years, but I had done everything else prior to that. Like I would have some beers in high school, but I didn't like it that much. And the whole Ali Jay persona that I have, I've kept because like no one knows, like I doubt you know my last name. Like most people don't know my last name. That started. Damn it. All right, fine.
But I don't know. You're in my phone like that. I don't even know how that worked. I don't even know how I got it in my phone like that.
All right. Well, most people who will guest list me or whatever, they're like, what's your last name? I'm like, just tell them Ali Jay, because if anything is trackable, I am so terrified from the things that I posted when I was in high school.
Don't be terrified. Just be I have grown so much since then. And then people will understand. No, I feel like, okay, well, I'll edit that part out so no one.
No. No shame here. I'm fine with it, but it's gone now. I've officially gotten everything removed and it's all good. It wasn't like horrible, but it's like,
you're a different person. Like you're a different person, I got pregnant with my first at 19. So I also like grew up really fast, compared to all my other friends. They were all, partying and everything. And I'm like, well, I'm pregnant and then I have a newborn. Like I'm not partying, I'm working 3 jobs and whatever, I grew up really fast, but, and it's almost kind of hard to like ever, which I don't know that you ever need to feel like you fit in. I think it's almost cooler to stand out and be proud of like standing out, but it's hard to fit in just with that alone, like being not different from people. Like if you raised yourself, that's like me raising a kid when I was really young, it's the same thing. Like you're trying to raise a person when you don't really know even how to be a person yet.
Right.
It's hard,
It is hard. Yeah.
And so then
coming around every like few years is not fun either. So I've always been the weird girl.
Same.
But it turns you into a chameleon, like you can sit there, vibe out the situation, see what people are like and know your audience. And for me, I'm really quiet a lot at events, and I think that shocks people. sometimes, because when you get me talking, I don't shut the fuck up. But
Well,
but
that's how I am, but I have to know you or like be in a situation like this. Like, okay, it's
yeah,
two of us. Like yeah, what are we gonna talk about? But if it's a group setting, then I'm mostly just like I don't even know, especially if I don't know the people. If I know the people, it's a little different, but even then I get a little, I don't know if it's overstimulated or
yeah.
overwhelmed or whatever, but I'm just like I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna go over here now, and like
I'm the same way. I'll go hide in the corner. I think that was a big part of photography for me, was being able to be a fly on the wall and like really observe my surroundings. Um, because yeah, big groups of people, like I'm not scared, but I'm also just like I hate putting myself in like awkward situations because I've said something that offended someone, or I don't even know. Like it's not even that. I got bullied. We all got bullied in like middle
yeah.
school. I mean, not all of us, but a lot of us like creatives and music lovers, I feel like went through that at a young age. And um, yeah, if somebody doesn't come up to me first, I'm usually not gonna say anything unless I've really got the balls to do it that night for some random reason. But
Yeah, I think sometimes you're just drawn to people and you feel like maybe you should know them or something, like
yeah,
I get that way sometimes, or if I overhear them say something, that I relate to hardcore, like out here in Colorado, if I hear someone say summer camp, I'm like, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, because like it's a very Midwest thing. So like I don't know, when people are out here talking about it, I get stoked when I hear anyone talking about it because I'm just like
yeah.
that. I love
I'm
it.
like that with Beanstalk
Oh,
a
totally,
lot.
totally.
I really like. I went to my first Beanstalk. It was 2014, or I think it was 2014. And I called my work at the time. I had a big girl job in Chicago, and I called them and I quit on their emergency landline because they didn't. There's no cell service at Beanstalk, and I was like, "It's an emergency, trust me." And like, they were like, "Allie, you're the manager. Are you fucking kidding me?" I was like, "I'm not coming back." And they're like, "Okay, bye," and like hung up the phone, like super pissed. But I moved out to Colorado. Like, I went and traveled Europe and then moved out to Colorado immediately as soon as I got back, and I don't regret it at all. Beanstalk is like a festival that changed my life. The band Cycles are the ones that like started Evan Marks. He put me on for photography, still has my back at Cervantes all the time.
Hell
I love him to
yeah.
death, great person.
They're coming up here tomorrow. Are you
And
coming up?
the magic beans too. No, I'm not. I can't. This thesis is kicking my ass. Like, this is the first time that I've actually, like, before in my schooling, I was like, I'm gonna refrain. I'm not gonna go to a show every night of the week. And now I'm like for real, not doing it. Because I want to graduate this summer, and I actually have intentions to move to Nashville, to the Music City. So
Oh, I need to talk to you about Nashville too later, but we won't
yeah,
do it here because I got an interesting development today, and I think that we need to be a team on it. So
I'm down. I would love that.
it's really cool, but I can't. I don't want to talk too soon, Like I
I
have high
know.
hopes for this shit. I have high ass hopes for this shit, and it's
Okay,
just
well, I'm definitely interested right now.
okay. Okay, I'm gonna do it because I don't know when this is gonna premiere anyway, and hopefully
Yeah,
it's
you can clip
already.
it out later.
Yeah.
Just
So
be like,
I
beep.
have you heard of Cold Hot Dog?
No.
Okay. It's an air guitar band
Okay.
called Hot Dog. And they're coming out with their second EP and they're like, we found that we can play 1 hour set. Okay, they hit me up. Okay. Oh gosh, I have to give you so much backstory. First of all, they play sets at summer camp. They've been going to summer camp for years and years and years, and they've been
I
playing
have heard of
sets.
them.
Yeah, at
Yes.
the kickball,
Okay.
Sunrise Kickball. Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I've seen them twice at summer camp, and that's it. But I fucking love them. And my crew, like Chad and all Lomo, all of them, like we're always talking about cold hot dog, right? Always. It's just like a staple of summer camp, right? And they didn't make
Yes.
it this year, and they were bummed, but given COVID and all that other shit, like it being in August, all that, it screws it up, So they couldn't go this year, and he sent me this really lovely like paragraph asking for like basically representation from Loose Leaf, and they're based out of Nashville, and they're an air guitar group that wants to play set breaks. And they don't need equipment because they need microphones and that's it. And they're an air guitar group. They have their own songs, but it's Cold Hot Dog and it's totally thematic.
Okay. All right. Did they actually
It's
play
so
instruments?
good.
They actually
No.
not
It's
during
all
the
it's like
show,
narrated. It's like
but
it's
to make their music.
I don't know. I didn't know they had EPs and shit.
So
Like
that would be
they
my only defining factor to represent them in Nashville would be if they actually make the music and this is just like a guar kind of theatric. I would think
No,
about it.
they make their own music, and that's exactly what it is. It's like a comedic, like it would be like a comedic gig between sets. They fit in perfectly, they say, between sets. So if people are doing two set shows, they would fit it. And they're in Nashville, but he has a 219 number, and he said right now. So I feel like they either are from somewhere else going back, or you know what I mean? Like I think they're
Yeah.
flexible. But I'm like, that would be so cool, especially at like a jazz set where it's like, like I feel like Kick the Cat and Cold Hot Dog, it would be. I'm just saying
You know
that
what? You know what? They have quite the following, don't they?
Cold Hot Dog, fuck yeah, dude. Like, yeah.
I'd put them in between a set.
Everyone on the summer camp group it was talking about Cold Hot Dog before and after. Like, oh, sad they didn't make it this year, but like leading up to, like, people know Cold Hot Dog.
Yeah.
They've
All right.
played. I could tell you right now, but I don't know how many they've played, but it's oh no, I do remember. They've been going to summer camp since like for a long fucking time, but they've been playing since 2017. So they've
Okay.
been playing for like four. They did what is it? Four, four.
I'm not opposed to this. I'm kind of digging it, like
I
working.
mean,
If they got numbers,
basic
if
plays.
they have numbers, I'm willing to talk. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be so rad. I don't know. I definitely have to look more into it, but I know people love them. And I know they're making their own stuff because it's like it's called The Worst of Cold Hot Dog or something like that. This is their second album that they're
Yeah,
coming out with.
I
So
definitely think that.
it's gonna be awesome. Like it felt so I don't know what the word would be, synchronistic, I suppose, but like just really meant to be that they hit me up because I love those guys so fucking hard. Like because I only made it to Sunrise Kickball a couple of times, like maybe two or three, and they were there every time. And like, it's a riot. It's so funny. And I don't know if it's just because you're delirious because it's 5 a.m., 6 a.m.,
Yeah,
but
no,
I know people love them.
I'm
So
down to talk to our people about it. I think it sounds hilarious, and kick the cat shows can get pretty heavy. Um, so a little,
levity.
our our lead guys for humor, Siebold and Clementi, which is the guitarist and the bassist, and they're funny and everything. But like, damn, when they get into those jams, like sometimes you're like holding on the walls. You're like,
Yeah.
what's happening, And yeah, a little comedic relief might suit them for a
Yeah.
set break.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I think it would be fun. I want to at least give it a chance. I think we need to just start like molding the scene to be what we want it. And if we want it, like who likes to listen to the fucking house music you've heard a million times if you can get a cold hot dog set?
I do like house music because I'm from Detroit, I will say.
I mean,
But
I'm not hating on the genre of house music. I'm saying like,
switch it
the
up a little bit.
when the venue is playing, classic rock from the 1960s, it's like why not give these artists a chance to play their like actual art, whatever it is. Like give them a stage, like while the other people are taking a break, let them do, especially they don't really need a lot. This is just microphones, I think. And like so at summer camp, and I don't know if this is what they do elsewhere, but they literally are dressed up like hot dogs and like get ketchup and pickles and mustard and stuff dumped on them. It's hilarious.
So I think that our bassist Clementi especially would really like this actually because half of the funny shit that does get posted on Kick the Cat is usually Clementi's like he's hilarious and he had everybody get up on stage while I was doing like their portraits and stuff and they did an air guitar band.
Oh, shut up. That's perfect. See?
Okay, so wait for this though, and they will absolutely murder me if they see this. So you don't have to clip it out because they're not going to see it. But
that's usually what I rely on. I'm like, no one's gonna watch it anyway. It's fine.
no, it's not even that. It's just. Oh shit! I can't upload it. Oh wait, I got it. Let me see. So Clementi is so funny. He just. God damn it. I don't have service in here. He photoshopped it into like a porn like a porn scene, like Vijay, because Vijay's sitting here playing the keys, but his hands were like this, and then Chris is like so it's Vijay like grabbing Chris's butt, and it's absolutely hilarious. But awesome. I'm just gonna, if we propose it to them, I'm just gonna remind them of those photos and be like,
yeah, and also just like bring up summer camp because then Kick the Cat should be at summer camp too, right?
So here's the thing with Kick the Cat and ever playing after shows or shows at summer camp. How do I put this? Okay, so Chris is comparable to like a professional athlete, and I'm not. That's not me like kissing ass or anything.
No, that's true. He's educated.
He burns about 6,000 to 10,000 calories per show.
Absolutely.
For him to be able to play an after show is just. I mean, he can sit in on songs with people and stuff, but he can't play. He can play other sets, but Kick the Cat's music is so
it's intense.
It's intense. It's mentally exhausting. It is like extremely physically exhausting for him, and it's just not. I see people making comments about it. I want to comment back and be like, "Yeah, we'd love to, but we can't." It's physically, he physically can't do it.
Yeah, especially if he's doing like something like summer camp. They're doing at least 6 sets or something like that.
6 sets and also multiple sit-ins at night.
Yeah.
All the VIP stuff that they have to do during the day. Like this last summer camp, I think I spent most of my time at the hotel with Chris because like we were fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
And my summer camp prior to that, which was my first one, I went VIP and everything, and I went and saw as much music as I could. But I don't know. I think I was at a different place in my life back then. And as much as I want to see every band at summer camp and stuff, like, I mean, the man needs to rest, and I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna be like, hey, someone come and pick me up and bring me back to summer camp right now. Like,
Well, for one, do that. I'll come get you.
Thank you. But me and Chris's time is so limited together.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that maybe that's where you're at right now, but maybe like later on it'll be, you know what I mean? Like I very much you've been together for almost a year, right?
Yeah, it'll be a year in November.
And they like
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
well, I don't know. My brain works that way. It's very like timeline-esque, I don't know.
Mhm.
But uh I don't even remember why I was saying. Oh, so like I feel like, every relationship kind of goes through this evolution. So ultimately, like if you want to be there, even if it's like, okay, I want to hang out at least Thursday night or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you might come to that point. But I
yeah,
also
I
totally
might.
understand like that was your first summer camp together, period. So like that was if you're experiencing it with him, like it would make total sense to want to experience it the way that he experiences it,
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
you're getting to like you guys are getting to know each other very intimately, right? So like that is that's one of their biggest events in the year, right? Am I
Yeah,
wrong? And
definitely.
so like
I've been like kind of already used to it. It doesn't feel any different from any other backstage being at summer camp, to be honest. It's the same. And as a photographer, it's the same, it's been the same experience for me. So absolutely nothing about being with Chris has been shocking in any way.
right.
So I would like to say that's like it would be more exciting and stuff, but like I think it's different when you're a musician of that caliber who's already been dating somebody who's been surrounded by musicians of that caliber and sorry, but like bigger musicians her entire life. I used to sit in the green room with fucking Christina Aguilera and the Backstreet Boys. Like
Yeah, it goes
it
back
doesn't.
to like getting jaded, like if you've been around it enough, like it loses its mystique almost,
Yeah.
and so you don't feel the need, like you don't have FOMO as much as you, especially
I was really
when,
upset about missing Tipper. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I can be a brat sometimes, and I try to be as supportive as possible. But when we missed Tipper, I was like not talking for good like 10 solid minutes. And then Chris was like, "You want a vodka lemonade? We can go walk around and look at the art." And I was like, "Yeah." Because I was really bummed. I was like, we got there and Tipper was like just finishing, and I was so
yeah,
mad. I love Tipper. I
yeah.
fucking love Tipper. But you know, you give and you take, and all these bands like I hate to say it because it's not always true. All these bands will play again, um,
Right.
for the
Well,
most
and
part.
that's the thing too, isn't it's not necessarily getting jaded as much as it is getting used to the fact that you have to make choices about what you're going to go to, like, or what you need to put your energy into at that moment. Like I missed the first Umphreys summer camp. Okay, no. I've definitely missed other Umphreys summer camp sets. One, because my sister got married that day, so I had to miss the Sunday show. I stayed there for
Man,
Aqueous. Aqueous, I told her I didn't go to her rehearsal or anything. I was like, this is summer camp weekend. You're an asshole.
that's
Like
savage.
why? Well, she knew. Like even my aunt who I see twice a year was like, Christy, we don't mess with summer camp. Because they just know that I love that place and I'm gonna go, right? And so that year Aqueous played a 2 a.m. set. So I didn't leave till 4:30 in the morning on Sunday and I had to stand up at my sister's wedding.
Yeah, my
But
sister. If I had a sister, she would kill me.
yeah, it was not, I don't think most people would behave that way, but I was like, fuck you. Like, how dare you? I said, plan it for any
You know?
times not summer camp. Like, that's my only plans the whole, and that has changed very much in the last few
Yeah.
years, but it used to be that summer camp was the only thing I did all year besides Umphreys when they came to our city or like, you know what I mean? I wasn't doing that much. I very much was like, all through my 20s was broke single mom basically,
Yep.
and then got married 2019, so that was 2 years ago, so I was 31 when I got married and I was pregnant again.
At least you guys got a dope ass road trip with like your entire Humphreys catalog. I remember seeing that on Facebook. Like
Oh
you
fuck
had
yeah.
all of your Humphreys music ready for the road trip and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
I
you
would
got
find it
to.
like hilarious. Like sometimes people will like I don't know how to explain this. Sometimes people like find out that like that I'm dating Chris or something, and they kind of like look me up and down, and I'm like, yeah, I'm chubby and I like it. It's all right. Like, no, I'm not a super fan.
You're not
People
fucking
assume that I'm
chubby.
a super fan, and like they talk to me like, wow, that 3 by wide or whatever was fucking amazing. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, like
Triple wide.
I not even the song name, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll talk about all of these like things that like I have not been following them since I was like shit. Chris started playing with Umphreys when I was born. Like we have
Right.
an age difference, you know?
Absolutely.
And I kind of just get like in this like awkward like I don't know how to explain it to people. Like I have learned a lot more, of course, like being around them more often, and I think they're all really great guys. But you know, like everybody who knows me knows that John Mayer is the only thing I'm a super fan of, and the only person that if I had the money, I would follow on tour. And I'm not talking about Dead and Company. I'm talking about straight up John Mayer.
Yeah.
I have never traveled for an Umphreys show except for that summer camp in my life. I've only seen them up until like I turned like 19. I started going to Umphreys shows, and it was only when they were in town. And they really loved them a lot, but I didn't, you know, just have that deep dive. And like I can't obsess over one kind of music because I love so many different genres, and I need something for every emotion that I'm going throughout the day. And Umphreys is just was always just like a sliver of it. I mean, when I found Anchor Drops, like that album like meant a lot to me and got me through a lot of shit. So I did listen to that, and you know, Intentions Clear and all that, but everything else I was like, what's a hurt bird bath? Like, I don't know. What like,
So
people
good.
who hear a bass line and they know what song that they're about to play, I'm like,
yeah, dude.
How'd you know that?
Well, that just comes with time, truly. I'm a nerd in the way that like I have all CDs. So like because my car doesn't have oh hold on, my husband needs a lighter. So anyway, CDs in my car because here's the bowl. Oh, there's
not supposed to vape in here.
No way to connect. No way to connect. God damn it. This microphone. This microphone keeps
There we go.
The cord keeps falling out. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, shit, I lost it. What was I talking about?
It's working.
I know, but what was I talking about? I don't even know.
We were talking about like understanding like the transitions of music, the songs when it like accrues over time.
Oh, it's really just it just takes time. Like I had seen them like 50 times and couldn't name a single song most of the time. You know what I mean? Like it was just unless it was on one of the CDs that I had, which like a lot of the time that does happen, but then sometimes it's just like a totally random one that's only you like people know it because they have nugs and heard it on a live show that they and I never had nugs. I never had Spotify. I never had any of that. So and if you listen to fucking Umphreys Pandora, you're gonna get fucking Fish or not Fish. Yeah. You're gonna get the Dead and you're gonna get Dave Matthews. Like that's what you get on Umphreys radio. It's like what so no Umphreys then? Cool. And they'll play like Zonkey.
I remember the Pandora days.
And it's a mess. And that's how Amazon Music is too. They don't play Umphreys when you put on Umphreys radio. So
I haven't even checked out Amazon Music.
Oh God, I mean, they have good stuff, I guess, to download ish, but then if you listen to their radio at all, like I don't know, it never correlates for me. I'm like, you don't get it. Like your algorithms are off. This doesn't make sense. But yeah, shit. There was a reason though. Oh, there's a pretty blue jay outside right now.
Aw, man, I miss seeing birds.
Yeah.
Downtown. Chris's backyard has every bird you can think of. There'll be like 15 turkeys in the backyard, and I'm like, I miss this part about the Midwest.
Yeah,
But
for
my
real.
hair also looks like shit in Nashville, so I'm not stoked on that.
It's
It's
so
fun.
hot.
I don't like heat and I don't like humidity. I like cold and dry.
Yeah.
I always have. I loved the cold winters in Chicago.
Oh God.
Uh,
Well,
I
that
don't like
you're a
that.
crazy
I'm a
person.
little
No,
bit
I'm
hot
just
right now.
that's outrageous. That's outrageous. Those winters hurt me. Like they
I
physically
accidentally walked to
hurt.
work during not the last polar vortex, but the one before that. I accidentally walked to work in negative 30 degrees. Just, I had my headphones on. I was listening to Humphreys, and like, I'm just walking along Lakeshore Drive and like trying not to slide into the lake. And I didn't even notice that every single traffic light was out and that there were no cars on the road. And like, I go to unlock, I was managing the Aveda on the Mag Mile in Chicago, and is at the bottom of the John Hancock Center. And I went to go and like unlock the rotating door, and it was frozen shut. And I called my boss, and I was like,
like we're closed.
"Hey, the door is locked." And she's like, "What the fuck are you? Did you walk to work again? Like, the whole city shut down." And I was like,
Who
I didn't even
knew?
notice. Like, I love bundling up and feeling snow crunching under my feet. And
I dig the snow. I winter doesn't hurt my body as much here as it does there because it's so wet there. I don't know what it is. It like makes my whole body hurt. But out
yeah,
here, like the cold because
I've
it's
seen you
dry.
pretty bundled up though.
Oh,
Beanstalk,
well, now
you're a
I
little,
have wisened up. When I lived in Indiana, I was a fucking moron, and I mostly was just trying to not be outside when it was cold because there was nothing to do anyway. So I'd be like wearing a sweatshirt and another sweatshirt, or like, you know what I mean? Like a bunch of fleece that's not really doing anything to keep me warm, like no windbreaker or anything.
yeah.
And
The windbreaker is essential.
yeah, dude, since I moved to Colorado, I'm like, I'm an idiot. Gear is important. And here we are, now I know how to prepare and I always have like all the layers in my cart. Look at how the sun is just blasting me in the face right
Yeah, are you okay?
now. I just noticed it just like started coming down through the trees. That's funny. It took me a second even to realize it was happening, I think. It was really cool the other day. I was driving to work and the sun was coming up behind me as the full moon was going down in front of me. And the full moon drops behind the foothills so fast. It was just like it was so cool to watch. I always love this time of year because I feel like this is when it happens the most because it's like it's probably the equinoxes, obviously that makes sense. They're like at the same time coming up and going down.
Yeah,
Uh I don't know.
it probably makes sense.
I'm not a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I aspire to be one, and all a scientist would be is someone who performs experiments and documents it. So I do that through journaling and shit. So
Yeah.
kind of a
Okay.
scientist.
Dr. Elise Carlson, everybody.
Do not trust my medical advice. I am not educated. You always have to do those disclaimers on the internet these days.
Oh
I'm a
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
doctor. Did I have to explain that to you as I record out of my fucking bedroom?
I feel like I have to disclaim things just for so I don't hurt someone's feelings with my opinion.
No, that's the thing that people need to learn.
If I ever post my opinion, I'll always be like, I'm not trying to invalidate anyone's feelings or emotions or past traumas, but
No, people need to learn that their triggers and their emotions are their responsibility. It's not the
yeah,
responsibility of other people to mind your emotions because they have no
exactly.
idea what's going on inside of you. That's
Yeah.
what's the problem today is that, like, so cancel culture, for one, where you don't allow people the space to grow after they've made a mistake. It's okay to call out people in a respectful way to let them know that they've made a mistake and maybe they need further education or something. But to
Mhm.
totally shame them for not having all of the information just blocks them from being able to grow because then they get spiteful or vindictive because people are being mean to them, like
Yeah.
is how we all behave. If some people are attacking you, you shut down or you say fuck you. And that's where it goes. Whereas if we're like, well, I see why, like at some point in life you might think that, but here's another way to look at it and maybe this will change your idea or whatever, you know, like
Yeah.
it's just, it's really
I
a,
feel like it can also be like a mindset of someone who's slightly inexperienced. Like I thought that I had like gone through a lot of trauma and stuff a young age. I mean, I've been through like abusive uh, situations for, I mean, since my second boyfriend, which was my only other boyfriend in high school. First time like getting assaulted, like he straight up like punched me in the face, like, and he was my ex-boyfriend at the time too. Like that freaked me out for the longest time, and like I think it gave me this mindset that that's like the only form of abuse that there is, and I wasn't paying attention to like mental abuse. And then I get like into my next relationship, and it was like mental abuse that built up into physical abuse like 5 years later. And like we were together for a super long time. And then I left that person, moved out here with the person that I met at Fish, and he ended up being a whirlwind of that. And then dated this guy who was my first musician boyfriend, and he was great and I loved him so much. Like I thought I was going to marry him. Everything was fine, you know, we just kind of like drifted apart. And then I started dating another musician very shortly after, but I wasn't ready, and I kept like trying to set boundaries that he wasn't listening to. And then eventually I was, you know, having my phone being hacked, or like my location being hacked, and like basically being stalked, and like coming home to them being in my apartment. And like it was all really like insecurity based for them, because like they were reading my messages and seeing that I wasn't fully invested in my relationship at that time. I still loved that person a lot, but you know, upon like the buildup of trauma over the years and me not speaking out about it to anybody, that was like my last fucking straw. And the person who did that eventually, like, we got in physical conflict. We broke into my apartment and like trashed it and like all this stuff. And I think I was like really selfish to a certain extent, not recognizing like whatever his past trauma was. And it's like you said, like we all need to like be accountable for it. But I was so young. I feel like I was like so relationship mentally young back then that I did make the mistake of, you know, like trying to warn the community about this person, like acting like this and being abusive and this and that. But I'm not sitting here saying it takes two, but like sometimes it takes two to fucking tango. And now he's still one of my best friends, and you know, he went and got help and sobriety and all of that, and I moved on with my life. And it took us like a year and a half to get back to a point of friendship. But I know we both like regret a lot, but I do like, if there's any people, which I get phone calls about this shit all the time, that are debating, talking shit about their ex in the scene on Facebook. I'm not trying to call out wholesome bitches or titty city, but like the amount of girls who are on these sites being like, there's like 5,000 people on here. If you seriously think that your geolocation isn't being tagged and that people from your town are not seeing the shit that you're talking about your partner, who may or may not be their friends or colleagues, they're seeing it. And the internet is forever. And
yeah, and people could
don't
just
do what I
screenshot
did.
shit. Like you could just screenshot shit anyway. So
You
like
can
even,
also Photoshop a screenshot, which has
yeah,
happened to me before as well, with
yeah.
completely other like
Well, and
forms
that's what
of
I was gonna say is that eventually these forgeries are gonna become so commonplace because they're so easy for people to do now that
trauma.
like you won't ever know what is real, basically. You
Yeah.
know, like so, it's gonna be so normal for just like it's really creepy, but like they already do it. It's like I can't remember the term that they use, but like they superimpose people's faces onto other people's faces in like
Yeah, it's called
pornos and
masking.
stuff. What is it called?
Masking.
Masking. It was a different term, but it's I'm sure the
There's,
same thing.
there's facial projection. There's all different. I mean, you can do it
Yeah.
with video. That's facial mapping. Which
Yeah.
at school, I know how to do it. I would never do it
Yeah.
with somebody, but like I know how easily it can be done.
Exactly.
I mean, somebody, I get the humor in it, but like to a certain extent, I don't think that people are very sensitive to musicians' personal lives. Like, um, Chris had a picture of him going like this, and someone photoshopped like two penises on his hands. It's like he has family on Facebook. I have family on Facebook. My parents saw that. They were like, what the fuck is this? You know,
Yeah.
like it's really uncomfortable. And it sucks because there's that part of, you know, like working in the music industry where it's like you're in the entertainment industry. So it's like dance, monkey dance. Like you're going to do what we want you to do. And if you don't entertain us, then we're not coming to your shows. We're not going to support you. Like you canceled a show. I'm never going to Humphreys again. Like I see shit like that all the time. And I'm just,
Totally.
oh, man, the internet.
It's
I give
so
so
weird.
many people the finger if I could, honestly. I just, you know, it's a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, that's on them though, you know. And that's the thing though, is that if we can all just own that we make mistakes sometimes or that you know what I mean? Like, well, how would you be upset that they cancel a show? I'm certain these people have called off work before. You know what I mean? Like,
You
act
know
like you've
who's,
never called off work.
they're upset that, like, you know, they haven't gotten their $100 refund back. Imagine how these players who make all of their money touring feel when they just lost $50,000 on a run.
Right. Right.
You
And
know, they worked hard to purchase these houses and they've got mortgages to pay and like all this and that. And the level of disrespect that people show is that they're entitled to what any artist should say or do or think,
yeah, well, that's
visual
what
or musical.
right. Well, I kind of want to start talking to people who work positions like box office, which I have had a couple of box office people on, but like parking or service staff or whatever, because it takes so many little bits and pieces, and people are just so rude to these people. And it's
Yeah.
like, it takes literally all of these people to be able to put on a show the way you think that it should be put on. And none of those people get any recognition. You know what I mean? And then when the band suffers, all of those little bits suffer too, you know,
Yep.
like it's like you're
People
not
lose
only
their jobs, you know?
yeah,
It's like going to a restaurant and bitching and then getting your food spat in, you know? It's like
yeah,
no one's spitting in their food and they're still bitching.
yeah, exactly.
I
And
hate
they
that.
yeah. Well, that's like one of the restaurants I used to work with in the Chicago suburbs. People would literally make things up, like just complain to get whatever they could for free.
Yeah.
And it was like constant, you know, constant battle. And same at Burger King, actually, which is funny. It's just like food service, I guess there's always those people who are trying to get their shit for free for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you going out then?
Just making people's lives hell for like no reason. And
Yeah.
it's sad, you know, I see it. It's not only like Humphreys has done a great job even staying together for 20 years, dude. Like bands don't do that. And with any other bands that I've worked with or like helped with eventing and booking and stuff, even within my own events, I've definitely seen a lot of like a family vibe because it's like them against the world, you know? Like, and I just think that has a lot to do with like the mental health issues that our community has. And I know that's a kind of a separate tangent, but it's all really like connected. And when Kunj and Sarah Shaw for Live for Live Music created the backline, um, I was really hoping I was stoked about it because I thought something like a tool needed to be used, you know, but I still think that musicians are still scared to reach out for actual help because they think that they can fix things by expressing themselves, but sometimes they come to that realization that no one's listening,
Right.
you know, and people are, but it just doesn't seem like that because we don't have 20,000 followers on Instagram or, you know,
Right.
something like that. And
Yeah.
that's like one of the worst parts about working in social media is like I've stopped branding myself to focus on branding other people. And I love them, but you know, it's constantly like, why haven't our numbers gone up this week? Why haven't our numbers done this and that? It's like, it doesn't work like that. It's like a stock market, you know? It's never going to continuously keep going up. You have to keep selling yourself. Like, I can't be the only person to sell you as a brand. And that's it's just like the sad part of, you know, successful bands nowadays. Like, you can't just pay for a logo, pay for some poster art to be hung up one time, and post a video of you playing your guitar every once in a while. That's not going to do anything, you know. Like, you really, really have to, like, if you're passionate about it, you really have to fucking send it. And I know it's hard to do, and everybody's so sad, you know, after losing people coming out of this pandemic. And I don't know. I hope, you know, if anybody feels like they need to reach out, that they're getting more comfortable with it. And I think that people are starting to, in the scene at least, get a little bit more comfortable with, like, removing that mental health stigma and talking about, you know, oh, I had a bad week, bouncing back.
It's important. And it's important to, like, just even have the conversation so people feel comfortable enough to, like, start thinking about it or reading about it, or, you know what I mean? But if there's a conversation happening, then it already makes people feel more comfortable about it. I think I've been trying to do that with some stuff lately, just because I think like, not being able to talk about periods and stuff is bullshit. It's like,
what? Who's letting you not talk about periods?
I mean, no one's not letting me, but, like, it's still definitely stigmatized, and it's still definitely, like, receives a cringe or gets edited out of a writing piece, or, you know what I mean?
I could see that. I actually did make a status a while ago, and I was just cranky and in so much pain. I avoided birth control because I don't believe in changing the hormones of your body, because I feel like it's all connected. But upon, like, recent things, I decided to get an IUD, and it has been extremely painful. So 2 weeks out of every month, I am in, like, excruciating pain and, like, bedridden with a heating pad. And I made this fucking post, and it was, like, half funny, half me complaining. And I was like, you know, I wish that men could experience what it's like to have an IUD and then shut the fuck up. And then I had this dude troll me so hard. He was like, sorry, somebody's about to log in again. I was like, he goes, oh, wow, so you're a man hater now? Oh, look at this man hater. And then takes my personal profile and then slaps it all over his a million times, reposting over and over again, tagging me in his stories, going to Instagram, this and that, calling me a man hater. And I'm like, first of all, you can't take a joke. Second of all, you don't know what an IUD feels like. And three, what is with this incel bullshit? Like, do you know what an incel
I fucking hate incels. They're the worst people ever. They're the worst. To hate women because no one wants to sleep with you is just a fucking special kind of stupid.
Oh, yeah. Well, even to want to kill them. I mean, they send death threats and all kinds of crazy shit. And, like,
totally.
Sorry I have a voice now. Sorry, you know, like, we're progressing as human beings, and maybe some of you are finding out that women are a lot smarter than, I was about to say, than men, but I won't say that.
Than a lot of people.
Yeah, than a lot of people would imagine, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's total bullshit. And I remember, like, when I first entered the scene, I felt like women were really underrepresented. And when I met Emily from Loose Leaf, you know, she's older than me and just, like, saw potential in me. And I keep finding that older people have been finding potential in me. And, like, I remember, like, being like a fucking, like, blazing storm when I first entered the scene. Like, I was mad. I would come home pissed as fuck. Like, be like, I'm done. Like, you know, I would, like, lose gigs because some other dude would get my job or whatever that I had applied for first. And, you know, it wasn't just based on talent. It was like, or I'd go and work a job.
It's a boys club.
And then the guys who would, this has happened to me so many times. men that have hired me. And then once I'm done working and once I've collected my pay, or right before I was about to collect my pay, they'd be like, can I get your number? Can we go on a date sometime? You know, like, that's really why I wanted you to come out tonight. And I'd just be like, okay, no. And that stopped like, oh, like after my first year of shooting in Denver, because I would tell people to like fuck off unless I thought they were hot. That's fine. But you know, that was not normally the case with these nerds. So
well, and it's just like that's unprofessional AF, you know what I mean? Like you and it, I don't know. It's just goofy. Um, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird world we live in
yeah,
this 2021.
I think it happens in every workplace.
It
Yeah.
does. It does, sadly. I even just like bartending and you'd have like the old, you know, older guy like stuff his tip in your apron. Like, excuse you, why did you think that that was okay? Don't
I
touch.
had I had one guy that like he was so old and he's like, I'm gonna die soon. I just want somebody. He was a very famous graphic designer, like world famous graphic designer from Australia. Crazy drunk, like, and he was like, my doctor says I've got like a month and a half to live. And I would talk to Doc, and he would teach me stuff about design, and he was cool, and he never was creepy or anything. And then I decided that I was going to take him to the MCA because he had never been to the Modern Contemporary Art Museum in Denver. So we go, nothing's creepy at all. Next day, he comes into my work looking for me, and bartenders are like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, what up, Doc? Like, how's it going? He's like, I need to talk to you. And he's like, listen, I have 2 more weeks left. Like, I'm gonna die. And he's looking yellow in the face. I really believed him, and I still do because I never saw him again after this. But he goes, I have no family, no children. He didn't have any teeth either. And he's like, I have about roughly $6.5 million in American money. If you sleep with me and marry me just once, it's all yours. And I was like, motherfucker, dude, like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I literally legitimately thought you were like a mentor and a friend. And
Yeah.
that's all he was doing the entire time. This dude could barely walk. I'm like, that the amount of Viagra this guy would have needed probably would have killed him first. I swear.
And
Only
you
in
think
Denver,
it's all
though.
chill, and then they're like, nope, actually, just wanted to fuck you.
No, I don't trust anybody anymore.
I don't
So
blame you. I don't blame you. I mean, it's freaking 2021. You never know what you're gonna get, especially when like there is the internet and there is like there's just so much information out there. I don't know. It's wild. It is wild.
I know you'd think he would have used the internet though, because some girls are really into that.
Yeah, no kidding. Just go on Craigslist, homie.
Yeah, dude. That shit would have been taken care of so
So
quickly.
fast. So fast. People are
Um,
silly. Well, he was probably older. They don't navigate it as well, I think.
Speaking of female empowerment, I I made a playlist called Meat Flower Power. It's on Spotify.
Nice.
It's collaborative. If any ladies would like to add to it, it's been my pride and joy lately, and no one has added to it yet. So
I'm in. I'm gonna find it. I'll find
there's
it.
100 songs,
Say it one more
all
time.
different genres.
What's it
So
called?
I can wait. Meat Flower Power.
What's the meaning?
Yeah, which really pissed off a lot of dudes. So even my mom doesn't like it when I say that. She'll be like, Alyssa, which one of my names is also Alyssa. She every time she's around me, I'll like make it a point to say meat flour in front of her and my friends and stuff, because she just like cringes. She just thinks it's like horrible. And my mom is 70, so she's like, you shouldn't talk about vaginas like that. And I'm like, why not? Like, it is kind of a flower. And if you look up vulvas, they're named after flowers. Like different kinds are named after. There's the geranium, there's the iris. Like, That's meat flower power, dude.
That's
Like,
hilarious. I've never heard of meat flour before, but I'm down. I'm gonna add to it. I got some badass bitches that I've interviewed before, like some punk rock ska chicks and stuff. It's good stuff.
hell yeah.
I'll add it on there. But
I feel
the
like
thing
ska's making a comeback, and I'm like living for it right now.
I'm
So I'd love
into
to hear.
it. Yeah, it's just the 90s, bro. Everyone's like, "Oh, the 90s was a vibe." It's like, yeah, duh. Yeah,
Yeah, well, the
it's
music
awesome.
industry will never, that was like the best era for the music industry and will always be the best era for the music industry,
I can't
unfortunately.
see it being any different until MTV is music TV again. The 90s rule.
No,
The
even then,
80s.
it'll still be the iTunes top 20 charts, you
Yeah,
know?
that's fair.
Yeah. But
That's fair.
I want to go back to the 90s. It was cool.
It was cool. It was a simpler time.
I believe it's 2020 right now.
It's 2021. It's
Oh,
disgusting.
2021. Oh my God.
It's
I
been
think we're all at that point where 2019 happened and we all forgot 2020 existed. And I'm still living
absolutely.
in 2020 right now.
Absolutely. Well, and it's just more prevalent than ever that time is not real and that, you can fit stuff in wherever you want to fit stuff in if you want to. You can choose the, westernized structure of the 9 to 5 or the, whatever it is that you're working every single day. But I much prefer my days with variety and like being able to pick what I'm going to do when and like
Me
only do the things
too.
that I love.
I think that's why I'm enjoying social media right now.
Yeah, because if you're in control, it's all about being in control. If the second you start like feeding the trolls, then you're in trouble. You know what I mean? But if you can just acknowledge, oh, here's a troll, I'm gonna ignore that fucker,
Hmm.
then you can manipulate social media however you want. It's like why people complain about what their news feed looks like when all you have to do is unfollow the motherfuckers that you're seeing. And
Yeah. Or
you
just
know what I
delete.
mean? Yeah,
Like
exactly. Like
literally,
what?
like if anybody's annoyed with me on Facebook, please
Please
delete me.
delete,
Delete me.
delete,
I am
delete.
not on a journey to get to 5,000 people. I
And
don't.
I'm not trying to make anyone else happy. I'm following my fucking bliss. I'm not here to make anyone else happy. If you don't like it, see ya, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And that I think is what people need to learn is we're not all here to make everyone else happy. There has to be contrast. There has to be someone that you don't like so that you know who you do like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The only way that I want to make people happy is by connecting artists visually, musically, and getting their work out there. And that's it. And like if I can make somebody laugh every once in a while, cool. That's enough for me.
Totally.
Um, I really miss the Sunday Jam service. So Facebook,
Oh,
social
me too.
media
I
Sunday,
never got to go. I was so sad.
girl, it was so fun. I mean, like
Yeah.
I had friends from the singer-songwriter, like more hipster side of the scene, meeting my jam band friends, meeting my jazz friends, and then it was just weird. Like everybody just got along and played different tunes, and we had like all these like big name people come in just to jam with like the locals. I mean,
I
with
love
a
it.
full stage setup, I can't believe we didn't bring it back, to be honest. But
One day.
um, I love open jams in Denver. That's my favorite. So
Oh, that's the thing I'm doing on October 21st that you should try and come up here for. It's on a Thursday.
shit. All right.
Open
I'm
jam.
down. The
I
drive's
can't.
not that bad from where I'm at.
No, and we have places for you guys, like for people to crash to, for sure.
Sweet.
But yeah, open jam, but I can't say who I'm hoping will be there, but it's in the works. But I'm trying to tell everyone because we need people there, and it'll be free, but there'll be cool guests, I will say.
So it's getting really loud out here.
Hopefully. I know. I got a dip anyway. I didn't realize it's already 5:41. Shit.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, we went almost a good 2 hours. You should get some good material out of that, right?
Yeah, totally. All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let's get, I don't know. We got to get to talking about a lot of stuff that we talked about today, but you know.
I'm down, and I will leave anybody who does watch this with my plugs really quick.
Do it.
Follow Kick the Cat Music, Chris Myers drums, I'm Freeze McGee. Ali Jay Multimedia, and Loose Leaf Talent Agency.
Heck yeah. And Jamcast,
Yep.
because that's where this takes
And
place.
Jamcast.
All right. Fuck
Yes.
yeah, Ali. I will see you soon. Thank you for being with me.
All right. Love you, girl.
girl.
Bye.
Bye.